but and I would play with the angles. And I would do, okay, now do it with your toes turned. Like toes turned out, right? So working the biceps forward, right? So, and then toes turned in. I noticed that was always harder. It wouldn't even be like, okay, now take your legs further apart so you don't crash your feet together. Then don't. You want them to try, right? And I would have them watch each other's backs for some of the moves. Like if you're hanging on a wall, I don't know if we're in it anymore, probably not. If you're hanging on a wall and you're doing extensions, when you're doing it slowly at the end of class, when you're getting class over time, so that when you do it in class, you're more likely to do it well. Right? Because you're watching it back. Literally. As you mark the directions, right, and you keep that steadiness, right? No, the hip stays steady. Right? And so it'll stay like that in our cardio part. So you would have had a baseline with that to help bring it in after the first time. And so go to a bigger run. Go to a bigger run and make sure you've got good torso engagement, good line of
big stride.
Good line of your stride. I mean good line of your spine. Good line of your spine. Upright. Building block stacked. So it's not taking a lot of effort, right? And start to make bigger movements. And so you should be deeper. You're not deep enough. You're my height. You're not your height. Do jumping jacks. And you really want the water to be.
And you go forward and backwards with your hands.
Yeah, of course. And then check this out. So make sure you keep it springy. You always, because you're landing on your feet, and it's not like you have no weight. You've got like 80% of your weight maybe gone, but like you still have 20%. So don't slam. Be careful. Use your full foot spring, like every step you take, all the time usually. But so now instead of just with the chest open, when you go to the back, you open your chest really wide, right? And you go up this lovely lateral raise. You want to go down and stand up, stabilize. You're ahead of the game, and like 3 times over. Now put your elbows at your sides. Do a fast kick with your feet so you can keep your cardio pumping and go in and out. So it's rotated back.
Oh,
right.
And you're keeping your elbows stuck to the inside.
Yes.
Like, try to keep
it's a lot harder this way. Let me tell you. Boom, boom.
Like your elbows.
And now straight legs from the hips. So
And
straight legs from the hips.
Straight
So you have to have a steady spine. And a glute engagement and open hip flexors to make this work. And this is the perfect day, because did we not do that all day, right? And so keep your torso. So it's a matter of reaching your legs behind you. 1, 5, 1. Good. Yeah. Yep. Chest lifted. Let's back and stabilization arms. And go back to, well, for the first time ever, here now, jogging in place. And if you can do it you have good hamstring flexibility. So do kicks. Don't hurt yourself. There's people that might not be able to do this with impunity. So the longer the lever is, the more water you have to displace, and so the harder it is.
Yes.
But because the water slows you down and your strength is the only thing getting you up, you get stronger, but you clean up the lactic acid and the byproducts at the same time, and you don't get stronger that much faster than you can, because you can't. Do you know what I mean? That was a lot of silly, empty words, but it meant something. Seriously. You can do it, because you can. It's the only way it works. And see, it's like cardio. Cardio. So, so in addition to for Tin Man, you gotta land gently. You gotta have your feet turned into springs, so that when you land for Tin Man, it's not, because it's kind of a straight leg thing. And if you don't have your feet sprung, you're screwed. I used to do waters in the siesta waters and like dream of, and a lot of water, but it's not, Not like they're gonna give you insurance for a potential jellyfish and cornhole. Who knows what else? And so go from that to really solid here and glute engagement, straight leg back. Straight leg back. And you know how we did the hamstrings off the table?
Yeah.
So Kyle, he's had this backache for days. We're doing all this. So it turned out lack of strength specifically in this.
It turned out what?
Lack of strength specifically in this.
Really?
Must have been it because when you did it, it cured it. And like,
Or strengthening the sacroiliac area,
well,
the lumbar sacral area. Because
Right.
let me tell you, that
yeah, 'cause
exercise.
he said that
are you,
one,
are you,
that
oh,
one,
no,
and
you're
the-
talking. You're
no,
talking
that
about,
one and the
oh,
two-legged one.
oh,
The strength one.
You're talking about just the
And you know, my
hamstring one.
friend, my super scoliotic friend,
That's
she
interesting
said
because
that I figured out you know what it was? It was like she identified one of the hamstrings on one leg.
Yeah.
And
Once I work on full short ballerina,
so while you're telling me the story, and I want to hear it. So you've got this. So I was trying to set this for safety. Okay, so you're doing pretty well there. So you got to really focus on that because now I'm going to add tricks. And they're tricks that you already know because after I put them in my water class, Aaron put them in his protocol. So change the angle of your legs. Like remember how you and Ginger were assisting each other to get all those angles. Well, I mean, two of the angles were pretty easy, and one of them was consistently like we're supposed to do. But yeah, those angles. You want to get all three of them.
Yeah.
Water resistance.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
Freaking own. I love water. I love water.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't love every minute of swim team, nor do I swim that much when I have a choice. I do this. I can be very specific. I choose my exercise. I'm an adult. Nobody's telling me I have to swim some stupid stroke that you know what I mean? Like, it's a great medium. I'm not going to let somebody else mess it up. Yeah. It's a good thing. And you can make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And like playing with the angles and see if you can. Like go ahead, be that person. Be that person who with the straight leg, whose leg is so medial and so rotated in. The toes of one foot do actually crash gently on the toes of the other foot. Somewhere in the exchange. Do it. You got 5 minutes. Go, pump. No, look at the arms. Look at the arms.
Oh, I'm paying so much
Straight
attention to my
arms.
legs.
Well, you got to keep them both together.
Yeah.
Synchronize them. Just like that cross crawl pattern happens. So pay attention. What you do with your arms matters.
Creating a little tsunami in here.
Right? That's another thing. So when I had a group, so now turn it in, because I'm going to die. Turn it into a curl. So you got to go twice as fast, and but it's less hard, and it turns to be less hard. So it's not the upper interval, but I was about to. But do the same things. So it's harder because like I have way to walk up to the table and stop his thighs when moving forward, even though his thighs weren't, but most people would if they weren't up against the surface. In the pool, there's no surface. Right? The wall is not really a viable option. So you have to keep super strict there, right? You gotta reach your distal femur
And you're
straight
saying
down.
you don't want your thighs forward. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
you want it, but you want to make it safe to have them go down, which means there's a lot of engagement, and finesse in these regions to make it safe, right?
Okay.
Don't you get a lot of people back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying you don't want to hyperextend? What are you
You
saying?
don't. You want to make it. Well, you want to have taut, strong, and safe.
And actually, what's
Patterns.
good to do is to tighten your butt and your
Absolutely.
abs. Yeah.
Well,
So
I
that'll
mean,
help you.
tighten is very generic term.
Okay.
So
So you want to engage.
you want to understand like the alignment that you're striving for, and
It does make a
tools to be
difference
able
when
to
you
achieve.
actually. I really
achieve it.
feel the difference when I like think of my butt and I think
Well,
of
yeah,
my
I mean,
core. I
it's
can feel,
amazing how much, like whether you're walking or,
I
you know,
feel my butt working
yeah, you
harder.
should, you should,
Yeah.
you should think about using your glutes to extend your heel out, right?
Right,
Because that's
right.
that connection, that's what should happen. out angle is so much
then, of
easier
course, you
than
could
the
do
in
things-
angle. Yeah.
And then of
legs
course you could do
turn out.
different things with your hands. You can
You-
go
well, you-
inside, you can go
See, the
out.
Well, the thing is that different leg movements invite different, so similar arm movements, right? So this is more of a front back thing. Okay. I mean, so jumping, or something bilateral is more.
Like internal and
Yeah,
external.
yeah.
I see.
That whole like frog thing. and so running to the side or looping to the side. I wonder when that fell over. Oh.